You're on.
Okay, so we're doing Padlet, GoogleDocs, and TodaysMeet. Y'all may already know what some of these things are, but we decided to switch from Prezi to this because these are all just like web tools. They're free. You don't have to sign up for anything, and like you could take them and use them in your classroom this afternoon, and you don't. There's really no like advanced prep that needs to be done with them. Mandy and I were at a professional development, a State Department thing about a week ago, and they talked about some of these things, and we just thought they were really cool. So the first one is Padlet. This is just a little screen cap of what a finished or in-progress Padlet looks like. It's just like a virtual bulletin board, sort of, where users you can make digital sticky notes. And so you can register so that you can save your boards that you create, but when your students go to use them, they don't have to make an account before they use it. They can just go to your Padlet wall and post and then go. So they don't have to waste the time like setting up an account or anything. But I would recommend you making one if you plan to host a wall. That way you can save it and change it and edit it and that kind of thing. So the website is Padlet.com if you want to go ahead and go there. I'll click on it. You will click where it says Build Wall. It's a big yellow button in the middle of the page. Excuse me. So you click Build a Wall right there. And then once that comes up, like that's it, your wall is made. It's ready to be used at that point. You can go ahead and sign up once you've made your wall if you want to. So this is your wall, all ready to go. But if you go over here, this is your control panel right here on the side, Ms. Parkson. This is Padlet.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and log in just so that I don't have to, I can show you all the different ways you log in. Okay, so here's my wall, and then all your students have to do is just double click on the wall and they can post whatever they want. So there's a spot for their name, and then you can give your post a title if you want to, and then there's a place for their response. You can put this little chain link that comes up on the post. They can add a URL, an image, a video, a map, a slideshow, a document. Anything can be attached to their post that they can put there. You can upload a file that's already on your computer, or you can take a picture from your webcam. So when we did this at our professional development, we did it as like an introduction. And so people were like taking selfies of themselves with their webcam and being like, my name's Sarah, and like, you know, and it was really cute. If you're the owner, you can delete, there's a trash can. So over here, as the person that's hosting the wall, these are your controls. So you can hit the plus to make a new wall. There's no limit to how many walls that you create. You can make as many as you want. There's your profile. You can share or export your wall. You can export it as an image, as a PDF. You can email it, print it, put it on social media. Here's your code to embed. It even gives you a QR code for it if you wanted to print that out. So if you look at access your wall. Where you get everything else is this little gear icon right here. So if you click that, your portrait is going to be like your user profile picture. So you can choose one, and then this is where you're going to want to give your board a title. So maybe you want to call it, I don't know, Joseph, give me something you're working on.
Simplifying radicals.
Simplifying radicals. I don't know what that means. And then you can put your description on here of what you want them to do. So you could say, post your answer to the following. And then whatever you want, the question. Right here you can change your wallpaper, which is the background of your board. So you have lots of choices. You can upload your own picture if you want to. They have tons of different options you can choose from to put up there. Your layout, it automatically sets it to freeform, which means that wherever they double click is where their post is going to show up. They can only move theirs around. They wouldn't be able to move somebody else's around, but you as the owner could move it. You can move it and edit anybody's. Or if you want it neater, you can do streamline, where they'll be placed in a row, one below the other, so they're a little bit neater looking. I like the freeform because it's just more of like a web of ideas, but it's just up to you if you prefer. Privacy, it automatically sets it to hidden link. So the link is public, anyone can get to it, but if someone tried to Google it, they would not be able to find your wall. It wouldn't come up on Google. but anybody could write on it who got your board. You can make it to private, so only people you add on email can access it. You can make it password protected, or you can make it totally public, so it's up to you. I usually just leave mine on hidden link, it's never been an issue. Notifications, you can set it to email you. It'll email you once a day and tell you when someone's posted. Like personally, I don't need another email coming into my email account, so I never set that, but it's there if you want it. And then the good thing is the address. So instead of it being like this crazy Padlet wall, HW3G, all that craziness, you can make it whatever you want it to be. And it will tell you, if you wanted to make it Mr. Brown's first block class, it'll tell you if that's already taken and you need to add a number or something to it. But for the most part, you can name them whatever you want so that it's easier for your students to get to them. And then if you don't want the board anymore, you can just click delete. You can say yes, delete it, and then it's gone. So if you guys will go to this Padlet, it's padlet.com/wall/AJHS Power Hour. And then you can respond to the question that's on there. And then the cool thing is that it's all in real time. So I'll pull it up on the board. And as you guys are posting, it'll pop up as you're doing it. So you could leave this up on your board in your room, and then all your students could see what each other were posting. It would come up on their computers at the same time. Sometimes you do have to refresh to get it to show up, but these are the ones from the first block. The other thing about this is if you're worried about it, you can set it to where you have to approve posts on there. So it wouldn't work as well if you wanted to do it like in real time in class, but I have one set up for the Media Center for kids that are going to do a wish, like if there's a book that they want that we don't have in the library and they want us to purchase it, I have it set that I have to log in and approve what they've posted before it'll show up on the Padlet wall. So you can set it to do that if you want to, if you're worried about it. Let's see. Is it working okay for y'all?
Yeah, I posted to it.
Yeah, sometimes, there you go, if you refresh. Now since I'm the owner, like I can drag it around, put them somewhere. And see if I hover over it, I can edit it, I can delete that person's that they posted, and it's on there. Yeah, book reviews is a really good idea. And you can link this on your teacher profile webpage if you wanted it to be something that was up all the year that parents could get to, something like that would be really good. All right, the other thing about Padlet is there's a gallery link on the main page when you first go to Padlet. There's this middle one right here that says gallery. And then if you scroll down, there's one that says teaching. They have one for brainstorming, discussions, note-taking, quizzes, and this will give you other ideas for how you can use it. I like this one for teaching, where this guy did a word of the day, and so his word was fascinate. And he said, make a sentence with this word and post it here. Remember to put your name on the post. So his kids are using the word fascinate, and then he's going in and he can respond immediately. Like in this one, he said, you used fascinated as a verb, you need to use it as an adjective. Can you, what is that? Can you change it? And he put it right underneath their post, so they're getting immediate feedback on their work, and he's able to respond to them and make corrections.
Does it go there automatically, or does he have to drag it?
He has to drag it right there. So it'll go wherever he double clicks, and then he'll just have to drag it right next to that person's. And that's all there is to Padlet. It's pretty simple, but there's a lot of ways that you can use it. Does everybody have a question about Padlet? Okay. Okay, Google Drive is the next one. There's a whole lot you can do with Google Drive. It can sort of be overwhelming, but I would just recommend taking one aspect of it and getting really comfortable with that at a time before you dive into another one. So all it is, and y'all may have used it before, if you have a Google account, you already have Google Drive. And it's just a file storage and organization, but then you can have collaborative editing in real time. So your kids could work on a project together. They could all have a computer out, all be working on the same document at the same time without having to pass the computer around. They could do it from home, and it just gives you a lot more flexibility in your projects. So it's just google.com/drive is how you get there. And if you have a Google account, I would go ahead and log in so that you can get to it. I made a separate Google account for my stuff at school so that I don't have it with like all of my personal Google stuff, so that I kept it separate like I have an AJHS account. So it will make you log in. So here's what it looks like. These are the things that I already did, some of the ones that I did this morning. The amazing thing about Google Drive is it automatically saves it for you. The minute somebody edits something, it is automatically saved. So you never have to worry about changes getting lost, or like if your computer crashes, it turns off in the middle of it, power goes out, it's all saved. So you won't lose it in your work. So if you click where it says create, it's going to give you a drop-down menu. And you can make folders to organize your documents in Google Drive. But you can make a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, a form, or a drawing. And like I said, I wouldn't try to tackle all of these at once. Pick one that you feel like you could really use and then get to know that one really well, and then you can figure out some other ones later. But the great thing about this is that they're all formatted a lot like the Microsoft Office things are, so they're easy to understand. So a Google document or a Google Doc, which is what you hear people talk about all the time, is basically just like a collaborative Word document. You click on it, this is what it looks like. It's got all your normal like editing things up at the top that you're used to. Right here is where you're going to want to name it. If you need to go, it'll automatically save it as untitled document. I often am very bad about forgetting to name it up there at the top, and then I have like 6 things named untitled document, and I don't remember what they all are. So just make sure that right off the bat you go ahead and name it. So maybe you can say that this was like an Anne Frank project. And then it's automatically saved. So when you open a new one, it's automatically set to private. So if you wanted to work collaboratively with someone, you would have to change it under the share button. Here is a link. The links are always crazy looking. So I would recommend using like a link shortener like Bitly or something like that, where you can just copy and paste it into Bitly and it will shorten it to something more manageable. You can email them out and it'll make it a better link for them to click on to get to it. But right here, it's set to private, only you can access. If you click change, you can make it public on the web. Anyone with the link can access it, or only specific people. So public on the web would be anyone could make changes to this. Now this is the only downside to this sometimes, is that it's easier for your students to get to it if you make it public, but if someone else stumbles across it, they can add and change things. So I would say to do anyone who has the link can do it, because this is going to make it, if somebody Googled it, they could pull up your document and find it. So I would make it, keep it with anyone with the link so that you have to send them the link to it. Save.
So could you create like 5 documents and then have 5 different links, and then give those links to different groups, and then they would click on the link and they could go in and collaborate together?
And that's what I would do, is if you were having like a group of 4, as the teacher, I would go in and set them up so that, and then add those group members so that you were also in as a group member. And you can come in, and what you can do is you can go to where it says comment. You can make comments on what they've done. And then it'll show you like who has made edits and what the edits are, so you can keep track of like who is doing what. And if anybody's not pulling their weight or not doing as much work as somebody else, you can sort of monitor that. And then if they know that you're a collaborator on it and that you have access to it, I mean, they're more likely to do what they're supposed to do since they know that you're watching. But yes, that's exactly what I would do, is set them up myself and then invite them to the right ones. Everything opens in a new tab, which is nice. So you can just, if you just X out, there it is in my Google Drive, automatically saved and popped up right there. So Google Docs or documents is just like a Word document. The next one is presentation. I won't get into this too much, but it's just a PowerPoint. That's all it is. But if you put all the kids in a group, they can all work on the PowerPoint at the same time. And with the Google presentations, there is a way that you can publish these as a website when they're done, and it's free. So that's a really cool thing. If you wanted them to have like a global access or a global audience, they could share it and publish it online so that everyone could see it. But see, it still showed up. Like there's my untitled presentation that I just made. So even if you like open one and you think, oh no, I don't want that, and you click out, it did not delete it. It's still right there. So you do sort of have to manage your drive a lot and make sure that you are deleting the things that you don't want. Look, Google Spreadsheet, it's just like an Excel spreadsheet that you can do. Google Form, I know Molly talked about with Flubaroo last week. A Google Form is what you have to use Flubaroo. So once you've made the form, that's what Flubaroo will grade for you. So these are really cool. It's like if you wanted to do a survey or a test, you can pick your background, and then you can go in and make your questions. So you gotta, again, don't leave it as an entitled form like I do. Maybe you wanted to do all about our class at the beginning of the year. And then you can make your questions. And then you can give them a help text if you want to like add more to that. You can choose from your question type, multiple choice. They can do just a short text, paragraph text, check boxes where they can pick more than one, anything that you want. So we'll do just regular text. You can make it a required question. If they have to answer it before they submit the form, it'll make them answer it before they go on. And then if you want to add another one, you don't even have to click done. You can just hit add item, and it'll drop another one down until you're ready. And then at the bottom, it'll have, if you want it, it'll just tell you your response has been recorded. If you want to give them a different message, you can type it in right there. These are your options if you want them to publish, to show all the answers or not. You can allow them to edit it after they've sent it and change it how you want. But when you're done, you just hit send form and a box will pop up. And so here's your link. You can embed it in an email. You can send it from your Google Drive email account. Again, a lot of times I'll take this and put it into Bitly so that it's not a huge, crazy link to use. And then all you have to do is hit done. If you want to view your form, you can hit view live form right there. And then it'll show you what it looks like so far. Once they start answering these things, it'll show you right here how many have responded to it. And if you click on that, you can do a summary of responses, and it'll make graphs. It'll show you, like, there's a pie graph, a bar graph. It'll show you all the typed in answers, and it automatically, like, aggregates your data for you, so it's ready to go. You can delete the responses when you're done. It's so much less work for you. All right, and then the other thing that it will do is a Google drawing, and I think these are really cool. There's not really a Microsoft version of this, but it's basically, we used it in RPD to make webs. Like if you wanted to do mind mapping or something like that, they can type into it. But the coolest thing is you can do, if you wanted to start a web, right here. Maybe you wanted this to be, I'm still using Anne Frank, so you could do themes in diary of Anne Frank. And then all your students can come in and they can add a branch to the web as they wanted to. And again, it's in real time.
May I please have your attention? Harley Baker, please come to the front office. Harley Baker, please come to the front office.
I made a web for us to use, and then you can see what the people from the first session did. But this is an example of a bit.ly link. If you've never done bit.ly, and I've talked about it before, it's just bit.ly, and then you can just copy and paste your URL in there, and it'll shorten it for you. But if you will type this link in, I'll read it, because the capitals do matter. It's bit.ly / that's the number 1, lowercase d, capital S, lowercase s, the number 6, lowercase o, and a capital Y. And that should take you to one of the webs. And you can add to it. And again, you can put this up, you can see the changes while students are making them. I'll leave that for a second more. But they would have to have a Google account if you wanted it to have their actual name on it. Otherwise, it's going to put the word anonymous and then some strange animal, so you won't know who is who. But if they have a Google account already, then it'll show up as their name, as their title. Does everybody have this typed in? You can leave it a second more? No, okay. So reverse typing is anonymous raccoon. still. So there's a lot of ways that you could use anything in Google Drive. So again, just pick one of them. If you wanted to experiment with Google Docs or forms or drawings or whatever, just choose one and then get to know that one really well, and then you can try another one later. All right, let's see. So is everybody okay on Google Drive? Okay. The last one is TodaysMeet, and I think this one is super cool. There's a lot you could do with it. All it is like a chat room that's temporary. And again, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to make an account. Your students will have to make an account. You could go and use this next block, and it would be ready to go. So it's a digital back channel. So what they call a back channel is just everything that's going on in the room that is not coming from the presenter. So like the little side conversations that your kids are having, if somebody's passing notes, that's all stuff going on in the back channel. So TodaysMeet's point is to focus that back channel conversation and make it a part of your instruction. So if you go to TodaysMeet.com is the website. Hopefully it's TodaysMeet. There we go. So again, you don't have to sign up for anything. You give your room a name, and it automatically will tag it on to the end of TodaysMeet.com /. So as you name your room, it'll let you know if that name is already taken for that amount of time. So I probably can't do AJHS Power Hour because I just did it. No, it's available because it already deleted it. So if you name it that, you can choose when to close the room, which means it'll close it, it'll delete everything, nobody can get to it anymore. You can do it anywhere from an hour to a year. It can stay up. So it's up to you. If you want to leave it up for a couple of days, so that if you want to go back at the end of the day and look at what happened during your class, you can pull it back up after school is over during the planning period. Or if you want it to delete right after class ends, you can set it that way. So I'm going to put it on an hour, and then you just hit create your room. No. So here's our room ready to go. So if you guys will go to that URL, TodaysMeet.com /AJHS Power Hour, you can just type in your name.
Question.
And then hit join.
Do you have any idea?
And then here's your chat that goes on right here. So this would be a great way if you wanted to leave this up, like during a lecture, if you have kids that are maybe too shy or don't like raising their hand and speaking in front of everybody, they could post a question right here. Other kids could respond to them in real time. You can sort of use it to drive your instruction in live time. So if you have it up while you're working, or even if you don't want it up on here, if you just want it up on your computer screen, so you can kind of see and address things that are coming up in class, you can go ahead and take care of it right then. Instead of having to wait, or if someone may not be likely to come and ask you afterwards, it's right there. Yeah, it's like Twitter, 140 characters. So there's just so many ways that you could use TodaysMeet. And then again, we have people at RPD suggesting using it for an exit slip. It could just facilitate a lot of really deep conversations that you may not have otherwise, just because they have that sort of sense of anonymity behind the computer screen. Again, you would have to really pre-teach expectations, because I'm sure you would have the few kids who thought they were being real cute and would want to post something funny to make everybody laugh. But again, that might be a time that you didn't want to project it. You just wanted to keep it up on your laptop so that you could go back and reference it as you were teaching, and then address any of those things as they were coming up, and maybe not make it totally public.
But they can see it, right?
They can see it on their screen, yes. Yeah. If they're in the room, they'll see everything, like just like what's up here is what y'all have. So, and that's all it is. And so at the end of the day, or whatever time you set, your room will delete, it'll be gone, everything in it will be gone. And that's it. That's all there is to it.
Can you go back and change the time restriction on it?
Let's
say I set it to a year and then I decide after a month, I'm not going to use it. Can I go back and?
Yeah, but if it's already deleted, then it's gone. But yeah, you can shorten it if you want to. Yeah. And that's all today's meet is. So, and if you wanted to, like, here's a link, if you wanted to, like, email somebody a link, I don't even know why they do that, because you get to name it your own URL, so it's less complicated that way. But you can print out a transcript of it if you want to at the end, if you wanted to print a copy, and then the room would delete, that way it's not digital anymore, but you might need it for your own, record keeping or something, you can print a transcript version of it too. And that's it. Question about anything, sorry about this, it's so crazy.